Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode with the Soul Sartorialist Lee, owner of the White and Simmons Advisory Group. Just wanted to go over some information that I thought would be very useful. Life is all about transitions. You know, the transition you make from high school to adulthood, to different parts of adulthood, to even parenthood are really vital in the journeys of many young men. And I really wanted to talk specifically to my guys who are in a very pivotal part of their journeys, specifically when it comes to going from your 20s to your 30s. And so I created a slideshow and I wanted to have that conversation to kind of give you guys a presentation that I thought could be a lot of value to you guys. And I hope you guys appreciate it. And it's called How to Dress in Your 30s. Once we do this presentation, if there's any further conversations you want to have in the comments, or you want to book a session with me, I'd be happy to have that conversation with you as well. But I truly do hope you guys appreciate the content that I'm putting out, and I look forward to putting out more in the near future as well. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can see my tab here. And here we go. So gentlemen, I hope you really do appreciate this presentation. And we're going to talk about leveling up, how to dress in your 30s. We're going to talk about presence, style, and authority. The biggest thing that most men need to, when it comes to approaching style, especially when you're in your 20s, is trend driven, right? Buying what's hot, not what fits your story. A lot of guys, you know, they'll go to H&M, they'll go to, you know, Azumi's or something like that. And whatever's hot, right? You know, in the early 2000s, the camo pants was a thing. Now camo pants are back again. The baggy pants were really popular in the early 2000s. Then it was tight pants, right? So this is where people are experimenting, is not telling the story of who you are as a person. You're just kind of tracing what everybody else is doing. So you're not really an individual. You're kind of going with the masses. Another thing that we do in our 20s is that we got a lot of logos, right? We had the really loud Gucci or Louis Vuitton shirts with a whole bunch of logos and brands. You want people to think that you can afford and do those things. But that's part of the journey, right? You want to see people do that, and it can be kind of interesting as well. And then also reactive, right? A lot of times you want to go out and hang out with your boys. You go into the bars, you're dressed in a certain way to try to attract certain things or do certain things. So you're dressing for the moment, not for the destination, right? And there's nothing wrong with how you dress at 22, but when you're in your 30s, you do demand a new language. You're in a different part of your life. Typically, you're in a different part of your career. I'm in a place where many of my friends are getting married. They're getting promoted to more senior positions. And so these new places and spaces are going to require a different level of presentation, not the same presentation that you had in your early 20s. And as you get deeper in your 30s, you understand the importance of stepping into a room with a certain level of poise and decorum. Another thing that we're going to go over next here is the shift, right? There's something, and I felt it myself, and hopefully you gentlemen, you felt that shift in your 30s, right? In your 30s, you're stepping into senior roles. People are watching how you carry yourself. The room reads you before you say a word. Your peer group is leveling up. First impressions carry really high stakes. So like I said, you might getting promoted to a director or a management role where you are over people. So if you come in and your clothes got ketchup stains on them, if they're wrinkly, and you don't have the focus or attention to detail, people will see those things. And they may not tell you up front, but that could also affect some of your career trajectory, right? If you're a finance guy, making sure that your shoes are polished, making sure that your suit is fitting correctly. These are little small things for leaders and people who have been in your position. They look at those small details, because if you can't even pay to the small details of how you present yourself, what if you're handling a multi-million-dollar transaction? How are you going to be detail oriented when it really matters? And people's literal careers are at stake. And so that shift is very real, man. And for my guys who are in your 30s, no doubt you see that you have ambitions to be a director, to make more money in whatever field you are in, and to be perceived not as a kid, but as a competent professional. And so that shift is a really big thing, and it really hits you hard in your 30s. Another thing too, we're going to talk about is that cost of staying stuck, right? When you keep dressing like you're 25, people, like I said, they're going to pass you over for leadership. You don't look the part, man. You're coming in wearing, you know, forgetting your belt, pants too tight. You know, you're wearing something that's too trendy or too bright or too loud, especially if you're dealing internationally with other cultures and they have different standards and they have different cultural behaviors, right? When you want to continue to transition to those leadership and leadership adjacent roles, you don't want people to underestimate you before you speak, right? You don't want to give yourself a disadvantage before you even have a conversation. You could be extremely competent, but the worst thing you can do is let people judge you even before you even have a chance to open up your mouth. And so that image, the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, people are going to look at those things. Even with confidence, man. I know we all felt it. You have that shirt that you bought from the store. It doesn't fit you like you thought it was going to fit you. Or after a couple of washes, it doesn't fit the same. And even kind of when you go out and hang out, you know, it's like, man, I don't feel comfortable wearing a shirt. And you resorted to just being a shirt that you wear around the house. It's not good enough to be in your rotation. So when you go out and socialize, because you know that it doesn't look the same. It doesn't have the same feeling. And the worst thing you can do, go into a social situation and not feel confident in yourself, right? What you wear really does affect how you carry yourself in every room. I do a practice of myself specifically on the weekends. And even when I'm going to do very mundane things like going to a cafe, picking up coffee or tea or getting a croissant or whatever the case may be, I want to be my best dressed. And I've gotten compliments from random strangers literally a day or two ago. I'm walking across the street in my neighborhood and I'm wearing a nice sport coat, not even a tie, pocket square, nice pair of slacks that fit appropriately, some nice brown loafers. A woman literally stops in the middle of the street and says, "Hey, brother, you look sharp." It was unprompt. It was impromptu. There was no prompt there. I didn't ask her for that, but she saw that the way I presented myself and it really struck her to say something. You never know who sees how you present yourself and what opportunities you're limiting yourself with when you don't present yourself correctly, right? Another thing is if you're people facing, specifically in real estate, sales, or any business where you're going to be people facing. And even in IT, people say, "Oh, we're behind screens." People don't really care about that stuff. But when you're meeting people on site and they get a first hand impression of you, if you don't smell right, if you smell a little stanky, you smell like onions, you smell like armpits, people are going to they're going to judge you. They're going to have an opinion about you. And again, if you're dealing with multi-million-dollar transactions or interactions, clients, partners in rooms that you're going to judge the package before you even hear you. And that's the sad reality that we live in. It only takes a couple seconds to ruin 5 or 10 years of really investing into a career and a skill set. So why would you want to do that? You've invested so much in your skill and your knowledge in your professional career to just ruin it with your presentation, especially as you get deeper from your 20s to your 30s. There's a couple of things I want you guys to realize, and this is something that we really preach here at the White and Simmons Advisory Group. Is going to be the 5 pillars of your 30s style. That's going to be fit. Nothing replaces a garment that fits your body. Everybody's body is different. Some people are taller, some people are shorter, some people are more robust, some people are thinner. You really have to have, if you don't have a personal stylist or image consultant like myself, you want to really take time to understand what fits your body, right? I'm 5'9", 165 pounds. There are certain things that I can't wear and certain things that I can wear. They look really good for me. I have very broad A-line shoulders. They're very sloped. And so for me, certain type of sport coats or jackets don't fit me appropriately, right? So if the shoulders have a lot of padding, I don't want to look like Ray Lewis in 1996. I want to look polished and well put together. And so as I've gotten older, specifically because I do this in my industry, I've learned what type of jacket size style fits perfectly for my body type. And for men, man, you may say, "Man, should I care about this stuff?" I mean, it's very shallow. It's very empty. But the reality is when you buy a car or you buy an appliance or you buy a television or you buy a camera, those small details about the item that you're purchasing are extremely important to you. You want the best for what your money offers. Don't you want your look to be the best for the best outcomes that you want? So these things do matter, and they're very small. They're very minute. And if it sounds like it's too much for you, that's what image professionals, that's what menswear professionals are here to do. We're here to take that guesswork and all of that complexity and make it easy, right? Quality. A lot of times, we see TikTok and we see the Sheen and the different things that people may be buying their clothes from H&M. But the reality is, it's extremely important to get quality, right? And a lot of times quality is going to cost you a little bit more. That H&M shirt that you washed 3 or 4 times and it's shrunk, or a button falls off, is going to be totally different than a well-crafted garment that you're going to get many years out of, right? Like as an example, I'll use this tie. It was handed down to me from my father. This tie is over 50 years old at this point, or close to 50 years old. I think somewhere in this, somewhere in the 50s, about 50 years old, this tie is. He's 74, and it's still perfectly knots. It looks really good. I've gotten so many compliments, but the quality of the material, the quality of the tie allows me to have this tie deep into my 30s. And my dad gave it to me many years ago, and he's had it for many, many years as well. You really want to invest in pieces that last. You want to understand, or you have a person like myself who can talk to you about what are some things to look for, right? Everyone's like, everything's made in China, and that's not the case. There are different styles and different type of factories. There are different type of sewing techniques. These are all things that a certified person who's been in the field in menswear for a long period of time can help you with that, right? Quality is so much more important than having quantity. You want to have things that you can consistently wear, and after a few washes and things like that, do not fall apart. And you can really, and unfortunately, over the last, in this country, quality has really gone down. When you think about manufacturing and things of that nature, but quality is still there and it still can be found. And again, folks like myself can help you and assist you with that. Intention. Every outfit should have a purpose and a point of view. As an example, if you're going for a job interview, that director position, you want to make sure that you're wearing colors that aren't too bright, too attention grabbing. You want to be seen as trusted and calming. So maybe blues and other things of that nature. You want people to see and perceive you a certain way. And if you're not dressed appropriately, they're going to think of you as a juvenile or immature person. Restraint. You want less noise, more signal, mastery, and simplicity. If you look at the way I presented myself, I'm wearing a traditional navy blue sport coat, deconstructed, because it's right now is the spring going on summer in the South where I live. And so there's no need for me to wear a heavy coat. So I have it deconstructed so I can breathe and still wear it throughout the year. But I have another navy blue shirt. I have a light blue shirt. I have a textured navy tie and a pocket square with a little pop here with red at the top. So it's a very simple wardrobe, but executed excellently with fit, function, and it looks really good. You don't have to wear polka dots and all these crazy patterns. If you're a person who loves a little bit more color and pattern, that's fine. But simplicity, when it's executed correctly, will make your life easier, specifically when you're trying to put your wardrobe together, trying to figure out what looks good with what. If it fits well, if it looks really, if it's well constructed, man, you can mix and match it in so many different ways and get a lot of versatility out of it. So having that restraint is really important, right? And understanding when it's appropriate to do it. You don't want to wear a tuxedo to a restaurant, right? The tuxedo has a specific purpose. You don't want to wear a tuxedo to play basketball, right? Basketball garments, basketball shorts, basketball shirt, Under Armour. Those are the type of things that you wear in that environment. So understanding when it's appropriate to do something, when it's not, right? Identity. Your wardrobe should reflect who you are becoming. And so when you look yourself in the mirror, what type of man do you want to be? What is your objective over the next 2 or 3 years? How do you want people to perceive you? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Your presentation's extremely important. And so those are the 5 pillars of your 30 style. Another thing is the wardrobe audit. What to keep, what to upgrade, what to retire. Things that you want to keep. Well-fitted classics. A really good polo that's well constructed, well designed. Good pair of denim. Neutral foundational pieces, like you see me here, navy blue is a neutral color that has so many things that I can wear it with. Quality leather goods, a good belt. You don't want to get a cheap belt that's cracking and falling apart. You're going to invest $100 or $150, $200 in a really good quality leather belt. Things like a wallet, a really good quality leather wallet. You want something that's well constructed, well put together, and that fits correctly, right? So those are some of the things that you want. Really good leather wallet, really good leather shoes. You don't want shoes that fall apart after a year or two. The heel falls apart. But what do you do now? You got to throw those away. You want to buy good quality heels that even could be resold possibly. And we'll have an episode talking about what you can do with your footwear. Anything tailored to you. Like for me, I do custom clothing. So this is tailored specifically for my body type, for me, my skin tone, etc. In the place that I live, the weight, the fabric, etc. Things that you really need to upgrade are going to be your dress shoes, man. DSW ain't going to cut it. H&M is not going to cut it. Target is not going to cut it. You want shoes that are not only comfortable, but look really good. And when you buy your dress shoes, you want to invest in some good shoe polish. Things that are going to help when you get a scratch on your shoes, right? You want those shoes to last a long time. You want to keep that color, that brightness, that sharpness. Water wear. Leather is just like skin. You want to also give it a good weathering. You want to weather it in a way that helps it have long-term value there. Outerwear and blazers, right? You want to have some really good jackets. If you live in the Northeast, like New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, Chicago, big cities where it's cold, Pittsburgh, you really want to have really good outerwear. You don't want something that's, again, the strings are falling apart, man. You're dealing with -4 or 5 degrees, heavy 2 to 3 foot of snow. You want a jacket that you really can trust when it's really bad and really cold. If there's a huge storm, you want to feel really comfortable, and you want something that can last you many winters and you get the most wear and tear out of it, specifically if you live in a very cold environment. So invest in that, man. $100 is just not going to do it. The way it's constructed, the way it's designed, the way the shell is, the interiors of it. You want something that's going to keep you really warm and really well constructed. Your everyday watches, right? You want your watches. You don't want to just be wearing an Apple Watch when you're going out at a nice dinner, right? You're going on a date. You don't want to have an Apple Watch. When you're dressed up, you're really smooth. You want everything to make sense. You want everything to have a kind of tie together, right? So when you're doing tailored clothing like a sport coat or a polo, or you're going to a place or an establishment that's a little bit more fancier, what you want to do is have a nice leather strap watch. It's classic. It's refined. These are these little adaptations that you add to your wardrobe. Trousers and dress shirts. Man, I can't tell you how I love trousers that fit you really good. Not too tight in the legs, but they lay really nicely when it's really hot. You can dress these trousers up, right? Gray, navy, tan, white, charcoal. Get a lot of versatility out of them, and they drape and they look so good. You throw a polo with some nice trousers and a nice pair of loafers. You really can elevate your style that way. And if it's hard to picture that, again, that's what I'm here to do, is help and assist you with really adding and upgrading your casual wardrobe, right? You want to retire that logo heavy streetwear. If you're going to a concert, or if you're going to like maybe like a place where streetwear, like it's a streetwear event, makes sense, but not in your day-to-day life. If you're going to like a show or something, great. It's more like hip hop or that environment, that makes sense. But in the day-to-day, as you get into your 30s, you want to become a little bit more refined. That streetwear is fine, but there's a time and a place for everything, specifically as you continue to become more refined in your taste and things that you do. You don't, also ill-fitting suits, man. You don't want stuff that's too baggy or too tight. You don't want people to see through the jacket and look at your nipples. You don't want it so baggy that you look like you could fit, the Baltimore Ravens under your sport coat. So something that fits you appropriately. Faded or worn bases, things that have holes or things that are falling apart. You want your first impression to be your best impression, right? Trendy pieces past their time, like those big red boots everybody was wearing, right? You don't want to do that. You look like a Disney character, right? Or a character off of Sonic the Hedgehog. You want to retire those as you get into your 30s. Just a different stage of life. Another thing we're going to talk about is costume versus investment. Your wardrobe is not a museum of who you were. It's a tool for who you're building, right? You want to invest in building a signature aesthetic. Everybody has a signature look. Me, I'm a little bit more elevated classics, right? I don't like to be too loud, too proud with the way that I present myself, but I want it to be elegant. I want it to be refined, and I want it to fit well. You want to have fewer intentional purchases. You don't want to just be spending $200 and $300 on a bunch of shirts, again, that fall apart as soon as you wash them 2 or 3 times. You want a wardrobe that works like a tool. What is again, you want to get hired and be a director. You want to get more expensive clients that are going to pay more money. Then the way you present yourself is important, right? If you're dealing with clients and you're selling multi-million-dollar homes and you're wearing an H&M dress shirt that barely can keep itself together after 2 or 3 washes, what would that person say about that? Would they want to do business with you if he doesn't pay attention to how he presents himself when he left the house and does business, right? You don't want to wear trends to fit in. You don't want to be buying all the time. You want to really want clothes that travel well with you. That's really important as you get deeper into your 30s. The power of presence. We talked about it earlier. You only have 7 seconds is all you get for your first impression. They've done many studies on it. That first impression could be your last impression, right? We all do it. We judge people, right? We see a person, pants hanging off their butt, and we can see their butt crack. You're going to think of something about them, right? Where they're wearing like night clothes or pajamas at the airport. And they got mustard stain. It looks crazy, right? Before a word leaves your mouth, every person in that room has already formed an impression. Authority is visual. You think about the president of the United States, the way he wears his suits, the U.S. Marine Corps, law enforcement, judges, etc. Your authority is visual. Before people come and encounter you, you're competing for trust and leadership. Image is part of the interview, right? You see a lot of, and I love this too, you see a lot of college head coaches really leaning it. A guy who really does a really good job is Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. He really takes his presentation very seriously, very polished. And he's in his 30s. A lot of times people think you're too young. And that's the thing about your 30s. Just like you're right in that middle ground, almost purgatory from a leadership perspective. You're like, you could have some leadership, or maybe you're not ready, right? And so the best thing you can do is put yourself in the best scenario possible. Your presence is going to compound. Dressing intentionally every day builds an identity others recognize and remember. For me, even though I work virtually, and when I have meetings and I'm having hundreds of people from different parts of countries, because when I have virtual meetings, we have people from different parts of the world at this meeting. And I've gotten compliments about where I presented, even from executive level. These things they look at when they look at promotions and raises and other things. These are soft language of presentation is really important. At 7 seconds. The big thing too, as you get into your 30s, find your signature. Everybody's different, man. Not everybody's going to want to dress like me, right? Style in your 30s isn't about fashion. It's about authorship, right? The goal is not to dress like everyone else at your level. The goal is for people to associate a look with you. Some guys can really pull off a leather jacket, right? Some guys can really pull off colors in sport coats with a little bit more personality, right? Some guys really could pull off some really good sunglasses or shades. I'm different. Everybody has a unique and different look. And as you get deeper into your 30s, it's really important for you to find a signature that starts with your color palette, right? I love navy blue. I love blues. That is my palette. If you're more of a ginger type of guy, there's certain things that work well for you. If you're more of a pale type of guy, there's certain colors that work for you. So trying to figure out what colors work for you and really taking time to say, okay, this helps me look good. When I leave out and go out and hang with my boys, or I'm going out and about and I want to feel confident, there's certain things that work with you naturally. Know your measurements, own them. When you go to the barber, if there's a certain cut you want 1 on the side, 2 on the side. Same thing with your clothing. Know your measurements. I've had people come into, when I used to work at Nordstrom, come and say, hey man, can you measure me? Just want to have my measurements just so when I do these certain things, I'll be ready to go, right? Whether there's a wedding, where you have to purchase a garment, a suit, something for a big event, an international trip or something like that. You don't want to be caught flat-footed, and you should do it every yearly because your body changes, and it takes 5 minutes to get your measurements. Own them. You know what your body's like. Some guys are more muscular. Some guys have more stomach. Some guys are shorter. Some guys are taller. So take time, especially in your 30s, to get your measurements. Have it in your back pocket, man. Have it in your notes on your phone. Take a photo of it. You never know when it's going to come into handy, right? Key pieces, 5 to 7 items that define you. Figure out a couple of things and items that really help you to be your signature style and your signature look, your grooming. Do you exfoliate your skin? Do you make sure you have that good hair gel? Are you getting something that works appropriately for your beard, right? In the wintertime, for people of color, you may be a little bit more ashy, right? You don't want to be looking like Ashy Larry when you meet people. You want to have cocoa butter. You want to have shea butter. You have things that work well for your skin. If you're a guy with a beard, you want to have some nice things that you can put into your beard to moisturize your beard, keep it healthy, keep it looking good. You want to smell nice everywhere you go. You need to start investing in that cologne collection. Have 5 colognes at a minimum that you can rotate. Stuff that's good for the spring, summer, winter, and fall that works naturally with your body odor. Everybody's body odor is different. Some people's is a little rough and some people's a little bit different, right? So to have that, nothing feels greater than you give someone a hug or you dap someone up and like, man, you smell nice. Or the girl's like, oh, oof, what is that? That smells really good. I like giving you hugs because you smell so good. Nothing makes you feel better than knowing that when you step into a room, your presence is smelled. People can feel it. You don't want to overdo it, right? But you want to do it just enough so people can think about you even though you're not in the room anymore, right? Consistency. Same standard every single day. Your clothing shouldn't be cut up. It shouldn't have stains on it. It shouldn't look faded and messed up. It shouldn't look just like it's about to fall apart. It should look colorful. It should look like it fits you well. It should look like it hasn't gone through a Jerry Springer episode, right? You want to make sure that your garments are still put together, right? This is what we do here at the White and Simmons, our framework of luxury, image, personal presence, and professional authority. What we do is we do an image assessment, man. It's only 30 minutes, a full audit of where your image is and where it needs to be relative to your goals. We help you with a wardrobe strategy. We help you build a strategic, intentional wardrobe that reflects your level and your ambition. Where you are now is not where you will be in 5 or 10 years. Extremely important to think about that strategy and how that it can apply, whether that's dating, whether that's career goals, etc. We also help with presence coaching, from posture to grooming to how you carry yourself in a room. We help you build that full picture. Brand alignment, your personal brand online, whether you're an everyday guy or an athlete or an entertainer, your personal brand online and in person should tell the same powerful story. And even more so if you're people facing every single day, if you're on television every single day. We all know Ric Flair. We think about Cody Rhodes. We think about all these guys that have that presentation who present themselves very well on television. You think about Michael B. Jordan and Denzel Washington and all these guys that Kevin Hart has a phenomenal brand alignment. The Rock. These guys understand how they present themselves. They're world, global, $1 million brand, producing so much value to so many people. And they understand, John Cena, they understand the value of how you present yourself in the world. And then we're going to talk about your next level, man. It starts with a decision to show up differently. In your 30s, man, you can book a consultation with us. You can follow our journey. Or you could just subscribe and level up. That's the biggest thing. We're here to provide value and insight that can be useful to you. The link to our website will be here, to the Instagram as well if you guys want to follow. And if you found any value from this video, please just put something in the comments, man. We're here to provide value and to assist, especially in that transition period of your life when you're leaving your 20s and now you're entering your 30s. So guys, I'm going to continue to try to create good content for you guys and help and support where I can. And I truly hope that you guys found value in this conversation. And until next time, gentlemen, talk to you soon.